Imitation of Christ, Book 2, second half of the 9th chapter, the Disconsolate State. What is our zeal in comparison of theirs, that we should hope to have it always warm, always gay? What have we done to confine the kindly influences of that spirit, and secure them constant to ourselves, which, even to those that use and improve it best, goes and comes and blows only where and when it listeth, and therefore Job takes notice of it as a fate common to all mankind, that God does not so magnify or set his heart upon any one among them, but that he visits him every morning and tries him every moment. Where, therefore, can we safely place our confidence, except in the grace and mercy of God only? All other comforters are miserable. The company and exhortation of religious men, the tender and affectionate advice of dear and faithful friends, the entertainment of good books, the moving strands of pious eloquence, the heavenly raptures of psalms and hymns, all these administer but very poor and slender relief to assuage the anguish of our minds, or but so much as to divert and deceive our pain. If God withdraw his consolations and leave us to the desolate condition of merely human helps, then as our last and best refuge, we must fly to God, humble ourselves under the mighty hand, submit to what he lays upon us, acknowledge his goodness even in our sufferings, and be content to suffer still so long as he sees fit. For he will not see fit to continue his displeasure forever, but will revive the contrite and exalt the humble in due time. I never yet, to the best of my remembrance, met with any remarkable good man who had not, at some time or other, fallen into these discomforts, and languished under the apprehension of God's displeasure, or the abatement of his own zeal. Nor was it ever designed that any man in this life should arrive at so exalted a state of holiness and absolute safety as not to be sometimes tempted. Though this happens at very different times, for some have their trials in the beginning of their conversion, which are reserved for others to the latter and more perfect days. It seems that sublime and rapturous contemplation of God are a blessing too precious for those who have not first endured some trouble of mind to qualify them for so excellent a reward. Well then, may we rejoice in these temptations, which are ordained certain forerunners of more abundant grace, and signs of those unspeakable consolations and delights, which are reserved for them that have approved themselves faithful. For not to him that is excused from fighting, but to him that overcometh by striving courageously and endureth to the end, will I give to eat to the tree of life. Most wisely, therefore, are these vicissitudes of prosperity and adversity appointed for the improvement of our piety and virtue. Were our troubles without intermission, no flesh could be saved, and therefore God softens and rewards them with inward and heavenly comforts, that so assisted by his grace and encouraged by his favor, we may be able to bear up against our sharpest trials. But were that grace and favor consistent too, we should be moderately exalted with our performances and impute the blessings of God in our own merit. And therefore the returns of affliction and spiritual desertion, and convenient to prevent or check our pride, They show us that how greatly soever we may value ourselves, yet we're not so perfect but that we deserve to suffer. And the good we receive not of debt, but of liberality and free grace. Mistake not man, the devil never sleeps. He always watches for an opportunity to assault and work the mischief. The flesh is not utterly dead, nor its appetites and passions so totally extinct, but the every fresh object will awaken them into lust. Be thou therefore awake too, and prepare every day for some new conflict. Speak not peace to thyself, when beset on every side with numerous and restless enemies. For wretched is thy case if their violence be suffered to bear thee down, or their subtle and wakeful malice surprise thee into sin.